Ooh wee. Guys, I have a story for you today. Great day in the morning. What I'm going to be talking about today is Deion Sanders. There's a story that just surfaced with Nick Saban, who is the Alabama head coach for the football team. Actually had really basically, if you want to say this, but he has alleged of accusing Deion Sanders and Jackson State of paying a college football player $1 million. $1 million. So this is going to be the topic of conversation in this particular video, but also I'm going to, bring some silver lining to this video as well so it can add some value to it. But I want your thoughts. Is it fair or foul for Nick Saban to accuse Deion Sanders and Jackson State program of paying a college football player $1 million to play for their program? I want your response on this. I'm definitely going to give you my response. I had this that was sent to me by a fan of the Affirmative Talk Show, and I want to add some clarity about what is going on, and it's all centered around an NIL. The NIL. So I'm going to get into the specifics on what is the NIL and how it is changing the game of college sports. So just stay tuned for me and listen to this and intro, and we'll get right into this topic of conversation.
Hey, experience can't be bought. This the energy you want. Yeah, this affirmative talk. Hey, destined for greatness, that's for certain. Time to build your life with purpose. Build your self-esteem and courage. Right now, it's a lifestyle, that's for sure. Good vibes and meditation from a real life coach. Let them know. Affirmations help to make a better you. Got you feeling incredible. Affirmative talk, come on through, let's go.
Alrighty, so I hope you can hear me well. If you can hear me, just say that you can hear me in the comments. It'll be greatly appreciated. But for the ones that's just coming on this live, I'm talking about Deion Sanders and Nick Saban. Nick Saban had went on a rant about the NIL program and how certain people, and he called out names. And one of those names was Deion Sanders, who is the head coach of the Jackson State program. And, they're doing very well. He's doing very well in how he has rebuilt that program and really bringing a level of manhood to that actual football program and bringing it back to dominance. So that is contribute to the hard work and determination of Deion Sanders and having the right people he has put or centered around him to be able to elevate that actual football program. Do I see Deion Sanders coaching Jackson State for long periods of time? No, I think eventually he's going to go to a top D1 college program eventually. But it may be something, I could be wrong. He could have a mindset of want to stay into a HBCU program and continuing to bring it dominant, so it gives HBCU players more shining light on them to be able to play in the NFL. So that is something as one of his main goals, is that he wants the wealth to be spread, on a balanced scale to HBCU programs. More funding is needed, better football gymnasiums with better equipment, better weights, also providing far as football wear. And he just want his players to have the top of the line. He was always a player that had a mindset that, hey, when you look good, you play good. And when you play good, they pay good. So he's a firm believer in that. So definitely we're talking about Deion Sanders and the rant that actually the Alabama head football coach Nick Saban has said some things that are accusations These are not been put out as facts, but he is accusing Deion Sanders and that football program of Jackson State of paying an actual player $1 million to play for them. And we're going to get into it. So as you can see right here is Deion Sanders, man. Let me tell you something, man. First and foremost, as a black man talking about another black man, much kudos to Deion Sanders. I really like Deion Sanders a whole lot. He's definitely is a positive man, positive individual. Just the way he talks, the way he inspires me, the way he motivates me. He's all about manhood. He's all about doing and making the right decisions. He's all about holding yourself accountable. Let me say this again: holding yourself accountable to make sure that you're committed to being the best version of yourself. That's right, Deion Sanders. And if you know anything about Deion Sanders and how he played the game at a high level. He's one of the few professional athletes that actually played multiple professional sports at the same time. Multiple. He played baseball professionally, the Major League Baseball, and he played football. And another player on top of my head I can mention is Bo Jackson's. But at the same time, Deion Sanders is prime time and is called prime time, not for nothing. He's called prime time because he showed up. Every single game, he showed up to play the game at a high level, and he just didn't talk about it. He was about that. So let's go into it, man. So Nick Saban, man, is on his rant, and he has made some controversial comments of accusing Deion Sanders and Jackson State of paying $1 million for a player for to play at Jackson State. So here it is right here, because I like to talk facts about what's going on about a story and be able to articulate myself. And I must say this again: what Nick Saban is saying is accuse. And when someone is accusing someone else, it has not been brought out to the light as facts, but he has accused Jackson State, as you can see right here, football, of paying a football player $1 million to attend the school during a speech Wednesday night. And here's this quote: Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year that was a really good Division I player to come to school. It was in the paper. They bragged about it. Nobody did anything about it. This is what Saban has said. Now, now this, we, I'm gonna just say this, man, about with what Nick Saban is saying. Anytime, and he may have some facts on his end. He may have some facts on his end, but anytime a player says things like this, it kind of like makes you think like, man, like why is he trying to bring out, Deion Sanders and the Jackson State program? Because he has been accused of a lot of things as a head coach, of paying players to come to that program and or having certain incentives for certain players to come to his college football program. Tis, you can make the notions. This is why a lot of people say that he always get the top best players in D1 football, because he's giving certain incentives for players to play for him. Now, it goes on to say that the Alabama football coach didn't say which player he thinks it was, but rumors of a multi-million-dollar deal, NIL deal, between top prospect Travis Hunter and Barstool Sports began to fly shortly after Hunter committed to Jackson State. Now, Sanders said Saban's comments were a lie and that he plans to address them on Thursday, which is today. He said, "You best believe I will address that lie Coach Saban told tomorrow." He said, Sanders wrote on Twitter, "I was and awakened by my son, Shador Sanders, that sent me the article stating that we paid Travis Hunter Jr. $1 million to play at Jackson State." Now, It goes on to say that a source close to the JSU program told the Clarion Ledger there was no deal in place between Hunter and Barstool in December. The next day, Jackson State coach Deion Sanders denied the rumors during a television appearance on ESPN. He went on to say 1.5 million. I heard 1.5 million. I heard Dave Portner from Barstool that the biggest lie I've ever heard, Sanders said. You know what that is? That means we kick you or kick your butt. We took that was ours, and now you got to make up an excuse. Why ain't nobody getting no 1.5 million? I wouldn't pay my son 1.5 million in NIL. How am I going to coach a guy making more than me? This is what Deion Sanders said, and I think this story is very prevalent to talk about because there has been a lot of conversations and a lot of people feeling like that college players should be getting paid for their likeness. So that's what NIL means. The NIL means for your name, your image, and likeness. And it's going on to talk about that these three things are the most basic things to football players. And when a player signs their NIL clause, they agree that the school can use their name, image, and likeness for money making purposes throughout their college career. So this is something that has been going on that now they have an NIL deal for college players to get some type of monetization for it. Now, it said if you look at the data, we're able to see the average student athlete in the month of July earned $400 from NIL compensations, which is not going to break the bank. This is a spokesperson by the name of Lawrence, but in every student athlete in North America average $400 a month. That means that's a $2 billion a year market has just popped up for these college students, college athlete students. Now, of course, the bigger the player, the more money they're going to be able to make. I would like to think that's probably how it's going to go. Now, one thing about it with Travis Hunter, there's a lot of speculations and it could be some hating going on. It could be some bitterness, some sour taste in Nick Saban's mouth because he wasn't able to pull Travis Hunter Jr. because everybody wanted him. Every single football coach wanted him. But at the same token, this is where you have to be careful. So if it turns out that, let's say, allegedly this is true, this is going to change the game. But also, I would say too, as well, is that the finger should be pointed back at Nick Saban. Because I will also say the bigger the program, the more chance they have to cover up scandals like this. And it's hard for me to believe, just in my opinion, allegedly, is that Nick Saban hasn't, or the program or their boosters clubs haven't done certain things of incentives for certain college players that they've been able to recruit to play for them without certain incentives. Everybody knows it. They watch college football. Everybody that's in the college football organization knows that there are certain types of incentives these top college players are getting when you're talking about them to being committed to playing for their program. This is no secret. This is almost like a fact. Everybody knows this. So I feel, from my perspective, for Nick Saban to come out and say these things, I think it is dry snitching. I think it is dry snitching. For me, from my perspective, I think it's uncalled for. I think it is, man, you're coaching D1. You're coaching D1. So why the hell you so worried about one player, Travis Hunter, is playing for Deion Sanders or decided to go and play for Deion Sanders? Get over it, man. You can't get everybody. You can't get every top college athlete. The man decided that he didn't want to play at a D1 college, and he should be respected on his decision to want to go to Jackson State. Get over it, Nick Saban. Get over it. Sometimes, man, I feel when you get so greedy and so headstrong and thinking that you are the ish, that you feel like your stuff don't stink. And you have to be very careful, especially when you're making accusations like this. He better have receipts. He better have facts, known facts or receipts, knowing and can pull up a receipt showing that Jackson State paid Travis Hunter $1 million. If you don't have receipts, shut up. It's just that simple for me. If you don't have receipts showing and you just want to put it out there to make this noise on social media and just accusing someone on something like this and don't have any facts to back it up, shame on you, Nick Saban. And let this be a lesson learned and a silver lining with anything that we do, is to make sure that we have receipts. And also look at the cost of the situation. Is it worth you really your time to actually bring certain things up? Is it? Was it worth it? Is it worth it? You are one of the top college athletes. Top college football programs in the countries. You have to ask yourself the question, is it worth it, Nick Saban, for you to speak out on these allegations accusing Jackson State, Deion Sanders, because he said his name, of paying a player $1 million to play for them? Is it worth it? Is it worth all that noise? Is it even worth it? Because at the end of the day, like I said, and I'm going to say it again, his actually history is set in stone. He's one of the best colleges of all time. I'm talking about Nick Saban. It's no doubt about it. But if you have a player that made the decision to go to Jackson State and not play for you, Nick Saban, hey, it's okay. Don't take it personal. Because obviously you did. If you went on an actual show that is televised and you had enough galls to bring out names, then have enough galls to show receipts. It's that simple. And if you show receipts, then guess what? That's you. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has the right for them to do something. But for me, I just think it's kind of dry snitching, to be honest with you, because everybody, including possibly him, allegedly has done certain type of things behind the scenes to get players to play for him. Bottom line. So that's my take on it, man, whether y'all like it. But y'all tell me, what are y'all thoughts on the Nick Saban accusing Deion Sanders and Jackson State for paying a player $1 million? And this is alleged. This is an accusation. There's no facts, but he put it out there like it's true. What are y'all thoughts on it? Do you think it's fair, or do you think it's foul play? And do you even care? Because at the end of the day, he's a D1 head football coach. He's mad that a top prospect had actually wanted to play for Deion Sanders, and now he wants to actually bring things out as accusations like it's truth. Now, like I said, until I see an actual receipt, all this is alleged accusations on what he's saying, and it's not facts. So once again, man, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Affirmative Talk. That would be great. And I'm also on other platforms, on LinkedIn, Affirmative Talk, on my Facebook page, business page, Affirmative Talk, and also on my Twitter page, Affirmative Talk. Until then, y'all take care and always be blessed.
Hey, experience can't be bought. This the energy you want. Yeah, this affirmative talk. Hey, destined for greatness, that's for certain. Time to build your life with purpose. Build your self-esteem and courage. Right now, it's a lifestyle, that's for sure. Good vibes and meditation from a real life coach. Let them know. Affirmations help to make a better you. Got you feeling incredible. Affirmative